ich selbst halte Aktien von Canada Zinc Metals. Im schlimmsten Fall kann ein Erwerb von Aktien zum Totalverlust führen. Dann gibt es den englischen Haftungsausschluss. This schedule contains certain forward-looking statements with involved known and unknown risks, delays and uncertainties not under the company's control, which may cause actual results, performance or achievements of the company to be material different from the results, performance or expectations implied in these forward-looking statements. Das heißt so viel wie, wir sprechen über Dinge, die sich dann aber anders gestalten können, das aber nicht im Einfluss des Unternehmens liegt. So, Peeyush, let's have a look on your share price. I got a lot of emails complaining about the share price of Canada Zinc Metals because it's trading, let's say, about between 45 and 50 cents. Realistic, the share price isn't bad. That because in the last year we have a 1 year downtrend, and in the last year many other companies are going down. Can you tell us something or what to say about the share price of your company? Because this is the main fact. Investors are investing to earn money, and now we are a year on the same level. Are there any reasons for this?
Well, I think Helmut, you're right in that obviously right across the junior space right now, there are many companies that are trading, towards their 52-week low.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we are actually doing better in terms of share performance than a lot of our peers. If obviously I follow the Zinc juniors quite closely, and just off the top of my head, if I can list a number of them. If you look at Donner Metals, DON, it's at
Mm-hmm.
20 cents. It's down significantly from its high. Selwyn, SWN, is down to 11
Mm-hmm.
cents.
Mm-hmm.
Zincor, ZNC, down to 19, 20 cents. Canadian Zinc is down to 50 cents. It was trading at about 85 3 months ago. So I think we're actually doing quite well when you compare ourselves to our peers, and I think it is representative of, again, the quality of the asset that we have,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the quality of the strategic investors that we have as investors in Canada Zinc Metals as well.
Mm-hmm. So let me
I think. Yeah.
Let me translate it a little bit, because I think that's an important point. Also wir haben über den Aktienpreis gesprochen. Ich bekomme ja eine Menge E-Mails, die sagen, ja, bei Canada Zink, da tut sie nicht so wirklich was. Im Endeffekt, wenn man sich jetzt aber die Aktie verglichen mit anderen, vielen anderen Aktien, auch speziell im Zinkbereich anschaut, da muss man erkennen, dass man eigentlich mit Canada Zink eigentlich, ich würde sagen, die beste Aktie eben gewählt hat, aber sicher doch einige der besten Aktien, weil sie sich im Endeffekt ich sag mal, unter Anführungszeichen am stabilsten zeigt. Der Herr Varshney führt es natürlich auch zurück auf die Qualität seines Assets, das heißt auf die Qualität seiner Lagerstätte und auch auf die Qualität seiner großen Shareholder. Wir wissen ja alle, Tongling Non-Ferrous Metals ist ja mit 35% größter Shareholder. Und wenn man da jetzt 140 Millionen hernimmt, dann sind es ja so um die 45 Millionen Aktien, die dieser Konzern eben an Canada Zinc Metals hält. So Tongling is actually holding about 45 million shares.
That's right. They're about 35%. 35% of the company.
Okay.
And I mean, we also have Lundin Mining, which is also a global mining company. They have about 4 mines around the world, and they own about 5% right now.
And
also actually,
And you are still sure that Lundin Mining also all the shares I think that they took it in back in 2006. Is that correct, or 2005?
No, their first investment was actually in about 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and then
Okay.
they took down. They exercised the number of warrants they owned as well, and then they actually bought another financing in
Okay.
2010. Yeah, but Lundin
Okay.
Mining is there. They participated in 3 financings, and there's also one other mainland Chinese company that we don't really.
Also der Peeyush ist kurz rausgeflogen, aber sehr interessant. Habe ich selbst auch nicht gewusst, dass eben Lundin Mining, der große schwedische Minenkonzern, eigentlich auch an 3 Placements teilgenommen hat und sie auch so um die 5% des ganzen Unternehmens halten. Das erste Placement war 2008 und beim zweiten war schon 2010, also sie sind eigentlich auch fast bei jeder Finanzierungsrunde dabei, haben auch Warrants ausgeübt. Das heißt, sie haben diese nicht verfallen lassen, sondern sind sehr bestrebt, ihre Position beizubehalten. What do you think about Lundin Mining? Is this a possible partner for the future, or did you talk to them?
Definitely. No, they are definitely still very interested in the project. They were at the property again, not this past summer, the summer before. A team of 5 of them went up there, and they came back confirming their interest in the project. And I actually just had lunch with one of the Lundin Mining directors last week.
Okay.
And certainly our project came up again, and I know he is. He's now talking to the CEO of Lundin Mining about the project again. So there is still strong interest there. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what's interesting, Helmut, is Lundin Mining is a base metal mining company with no smelters. Tongling has the smelters. So certainly you've got a company here that's interested in mining it, and you've got a company that's interested in owning the concentrate with their smelters. Yeah.
Okay. Der Peeyush war gerade letzte Woche mit einem Direktor von Lundin Mining zum Lunch und es ist natürlich auch wieder Gespräch auf das Projekt gekommen. Und sie haben das Projekt schon mittlerweile Lundin were there 2 or 3 times on the project. Ja. Sie waren schon einige Male eben am Projekt und bekunden immer wieder das Interesse. Und der Peeyush glaubt, dass es auch Lundin Mining ein möglicher Partner für die Zukunft sein könnte, und er führt auch aus, dass eben Lundin Mining ein Minenkonzern ist, die keine eigene Schmelzanlage eben besitzen, und Tongling besitzt aber sehr viele Schmelzen, aber eben wenig eigenen Bergbau. Vielleicht ergibt es. Do you think that there could be a combination between Lundin Mining and Tongling non-ferrous metals? Is that possible?
Certainly, there is certainly a possibility of a joint bid, a joint takeover of 2 of the senior companies.
Okay.
Making a joint bid, that's always very possible. In fact, a year and a half ago, Tongling and another Chinese company, China Railway Corp, they made a joint takeover bid for a copper project, Corriente Resources in Ecuador.
I know.
That was a $650 million acquisition. That was a joint bid. So certainly there's a possibility that Lundin Mining and Tongling could make a joint bid here as well.
Also sagt gerade, dass im Tongling, dass es die Möglichkeit einer gemeinsamen Übernahme von Canada Zinc Metals durch Lundin Mining und auch durch Tongling, dass diese Möglichkeit eben auch besteht, weil dies eine gute Geschäftskombination für beide wäre, und Tongling has deep pockets.
Yeah, yes it does. Yeah. It's a state-owned enterprise. Yeah, it's a state-owned group, government-backed. Yeah.
Okay. So, es wird kein Geldproblem nicht geben, weil es ist ein staatliches Unternehmen und die haben zum Beispiel Corriente Copper gemeinsam mit China Railway um 600 Millionen übernommen. They have to invest, I think, $1 billion on the Corriente Copper project. China Railway and Tonglink. Yeah. Over $1 billion, okay.
Yeah, in excess, yeah.
Und müssen dort natürlich eine Milliarde noch investieren, also Geld genug wäre vorhanden, um auch Kanada Zink zu übernehmen. So,
so Helmut, so just to clarify, so Tonglink is the, I'd say the second largest copper smelting company in China, and about 2.5 years ago, they were given a zinc and lead smelter. Hence their search for zinc and lead concentrate. So we are the first.
Okay, leider ist jetzt kurz weg und ausgestiegen. Ich will noch einmal zu dem Ganzen befragen. Ich weiß, dass er hierzu so nicht so viel sagen möchte oder so irgendwas. Ich habe nur mal let's talk about this later. I will short explain this to the audience. Das sind Chartverläufe verschiedener Zink Juniors und ich habe eigentlich die 4, also die 3 prominentesten und Canada Zink Metals dazugenommen. Und man sieht eigentlich auf Jahressicht ist man eigentlich mit der Canada Zink eigentlich am besten ausgestiegen. So Trevally mining gets a lot of audience from the brokers and from other people but they have the worst performance of all. So is it bad to get a broker recommendation?
Well, there's different thoughts on that, Helmut. For us, we have actually never done a brokered financing. We've always done private placements, and for us, what's worked in our favor is we've done a number of our financings with strategic investors. So you have Tonglink, you have Lundin. There's another Chinese entity that owns 8% of the company, and these are groups that never sell their shares. They take their share certificates, put it in a safety deposit box, and you never see their shares being sold back in the market. When a broker does a financing, you often get shareholders that are, if they make 10 cents on their investment, they're selling. So having a brokerage behind you doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, as you often get clients that are happy making 10 cents and selling. So we've been placing our shares with, we've been doing our financings with strategic investors that don't sell their shares in the market.
I think that a similar problem has done metals because they did always financing on a very low level, and so the share price cannot raise up. But they have I think a joint venture with Xstrata, and the share price is still hammered. So was ich damit sagen möchte, ist Folgendes. Also was auch der Herr Varshney gesagt hat, die anderen haben zwar einiges Brokerage-Following bekommen, weil sie über diese Broker auch Geld aufgenommen haben. Sie hingegen, also Canada Zink hingegen, hat eigentlich, I think it was most of the financing was only with strategic investors.
Yes.
Okay. Also das meiste Geld wurde eigentlich über strategische Investoren aufgenommen. Es ist Tonglink, es ist Lundin Mining, dann gibt es eine zweite chinesische Gruppe, die auch noch Geld Geld gegeben hat. Also und diese Aktien sieht man eigentlich nie wieder im Markt. So can we say that 50% of all the outstanding shares is in safe hands? About 50%?
Yes, because I mean you can say Tonglink at 35%, Lundin at 40%, call this other Chinese group 8%, that's 48%. If you include management and people close to management, probably another 10%. So I'd say almost 60% is in tight hands.
Okay. So that's maybe the reason why the share price did better than on the other companies. Also man kann sagen, dass man kann eigentlich sagen, dass 60% aller Aktien, die ausgegeben sind, eigentlich in sehr, sehr sicheren Händen sind, die was man eigentlich nie wieder irgendwo im Markt sehen wird. Und das ist natürlich auch mit dem Grund, warum sich die Aktie gegenüber von anderen sehr, sehr gut verhalten hat. Please.
Yeah. Also, the other thing, Helmut, is even just the financing prices that we've achieved have often been at premium to our market price. So we don't really have a lot of any cheap financings out there. So if I look back at the financings we've done in the last few years, they've been done at 60 cents, 57.5, warrants at 60 cents. We did one last year at 77 cents. Before that, Lundin Mining was buying at $1.15, $1.35. So we don't have cheap financings. That's also probably helping us, right?
I think that the first financing with Tongling, the share price was trading at about 20 to 23 cents, and you did the financing at 35. I think that's correct.
42.5.
At 42.5,
100%.
Nearly 100%. Also die erste Finanzierung, an die ich mich erinnern kann, das war eigentlich auch der Grund, warum ich seinerzeit die Canada Zinc Metals ins Musterdepot aufgenommen hat. Der Aktienpreis war bei 20 Cent, also um die 20 Cent, und sie haben eigentlich über 40 Cent die erste Finanzierung gemacht. Das ist eigentlich sensationell. Der Aktienkurs ist eigentlich dann relativ schnell dorthin gelaufen. The second financing with Tongling, I think that was also a premium of 35%.
About 30%. It was at 57.5 cents, yeah.
Okay. Die zweite Finanzierung mit Tongling erfolgte ebenso zu einem Premiumpreis. Das heißt, der Aktienpreis war eigentlich ungefähr 30% unter dem Finanzierungspreis. Ich glaube, das sagt am besten über die Qualität dieser Lagerstätte aus. I compared Canada Zinc Metals to the TSX Venture Index, and we see on the yearly basis, on the 3-yearly basis, it would be better to choose Canada Zinc than the index.
Well, I guess based on that performance chart you're showing us, yeah. I mean,
if you grabbed some shares, let's say a year ago, you have now, let's say, minus 15, minus 20%. If you grab the index, you have minus 35. On the 3-yearly base, you have nearly 60% advantage with Canada Zinc, and with the index you have just 20%. So for long-term investors, I think that's an important point. That's no bullshit company with real assets, and I think these charts are showing this. So man sieht einfach am Vergleich von Canada Zinc Metals. Gut, wir brauchen über das letzte Jahr nicht sprechen. Ich sage mal so, die meisten TSX-Firmen sind zwischen 30 und 70% im Minus. Wenn man sich jetzt aber die Canada Zinc Metals anschaut, dann sage ich, okay, wir haben nur minus 20%, klingt jetzt ein bisschen blöd, weil nur minus 20% ist im Prinzip auch sehr, sehr viel Geld, aber im Vergleich zum Index zum Beispiel ist die Aktie noch wesentlich besser. Noch deutlicher wird es am 3-Jahres-Vergleich, wo man mit der Canada Zinc Metals zu 50-60% gemacht hat, mit dem Index gerade so um die 20%. So let's go to the next slide. Your resource. You did the resource calculation a few weeks ago. And I did a little bit of mathematics. So that's, let's say, roughly 6 billion pounds of zinc equivalent. Maybe a little bit up or down. And that's on the current market price and in situ value of $5.4 billion. That's huge. That's really huge. I think this is one of the best lead zinc resources in Canada, and one of the biggest too.
Yeah, I'd even say worldwide, Helmut. I would say that when we were approached by other big mining companies, they do look at us as one of the probably top 5 largest and most attractive undeveloped zinc-lead deposits in the world, in fact.
Okay, der Peeyush sagt, es ist nicht nur eine der größten und besten Zinklagerstätten in Kanada, sondern es ist eine der besten Bleilagerstätten weltweit. Und ich sage mal so, im Insiderkreis wird in Kanada Zink eben gehandelt als einer der Top 5 Zinc Explorer. Yeah, that's good to hear. that we have invested so much money in a really high quality company.
Yes, no, for sure. So, and I think also what the audience may also not maybe fully appreciate is our investment with Tongling right now is a passive investor. So they are simply a shareholder. They do not have any rights to our concentrate.
Okay, was der Peeyush damit sagen wollte, ist, dass sich Tongling wirklich nur ein passiver Investor ist. So, man mischt sich praktisch nicht in den Tagesablauf des Geschehens ein, und sie haben auch kein Recht auf das Konzentrat Bliss.
They have no rights to, in fact, participate in another financing. They don't have a right to participate in a financing. So what that's doing for us is it's keeping other big mining companies interested in us, because they realize that there's still opportunity perhaps for them to come in and either buy out the company or make some sort of transaction with it.
So, der Peeyush führt eben aus, dass es sehr wichtig ist, dass eben Tongling ein passiver Investor ist, der sich eben in das Geschehen da nicht wirklich aktiv einmischt. Sie haben nur ein einziges Recht, und das ist jenes, dass sie auch an zukünftigen Finanzierungen teilnehmen dürfen. Also ich glaube, dass das schon ziemlich weit spricht, und das hält eben das ganze Unternehmen auch interessant für andere mögliche strategische Investoren, sprich Land in Mining oder andere.
Yeah, no, just last.
Okay, es behält es eben interessant eben auch für andere Unternehmen, also die sich eben noch am Unternehmen, also am Canada Zinc Metals beteiligen möchten. So, der Peeyush scheint ein paar Internetprobleme zu haben. So, hopefully the connection is stable now.
Yeah, it seems so. Seems better now. But, so, I mean, even last week I had...
Maybe I'm talking too much, so the bandwidth is going down because of the of big big data packages.
But Helmut, so on that point, I mean, we've had we still have regular dialogue with Teck. They have a deposit 20 kilometers from ours, so Teck is certainly someone that...
Okay. Er hat gerade gesagt, Sie sind auch im regelmäßigen Dialog mit Teck. Teck hat gemeinsam mit Korea Zink so 25 Kilometer weg. Teck and Korea Zink has a joint venture in CZX.V.
The CERT deposit, yes.
Ja, genau. This is 50 million tons, is that correct?
40 to 50 million tons of similar grade.
And yes, okay, okay.
So there are certainly some who speculate that Teck may ultimately want to own this company as well, because they have these deposits so close to each other. So if they develop one, they might want to develop all of it, right? So tech is certainly somebody that has the power to also step in and play a role here.
Do tech own a smelter nearby?
They do have.
We can hear you. We know your face. Just talk.
Okay. They do have a smelter in Trail, British Columbia. So within British Columbia, they do have a large zinc smelter. So they're very keen on securing concentrate for.
So, was gerade erzählt hat, war folgendes, und zwar, dass im Tech, die eben auch im selben Trend eine Lagerstätte besitzen, wir werden das später auf der Karte sehen, die haben auch in der Nähe eine Schmelzanlage und die Spekulation ist natürlich auch berechtigt, dass auch Tech ein großes Interesse eben an dieser Lagerstätte haben könnte, weil sie dann sowieso mit einem Schlag eigentlich die Ressource im Aktie-Trend verdoppelt hätten. Und es ist nicht teuer. So.
Also Helmut, last week I had a Brazilian company, Votorantim. They are the fourth largest. They're the fourth largest zinc miner in the world. They've established an office in Toronto. So they were in my office last week, also showing interest in the project. Yeah.
That's Canada Zinc International. You should change your company's name. Also ich habe gerade erzählt, dass auch letzte Woche ein brasilianisches Unternehmen in seinem Büro aufgeschlagen ist, die ebenfalls Interesse an der Lagerstätte zeigen. You talked about that our Asian companies are interested in your deposit?
They are. We had China Minmetals at the visit the project last summer as well. So just this past season in August, China Minmetals was there. So even the other Chinese groups are showing interest. So I think the main point being made is, again, we're big, we're very good grade, we're attractive. You know, so we're certainly garnering the interest of a number of big mining companies, even with Tongling and Lundin already invested.
So I compared your resource in zinc with the actual prices in gold, because many listeners of more technology is more what is it in gold. So I calculated about 3.3 million ounces of gold at the grade of 4 grams. So I say if Canada Zinc would be a gold company, you would be one of the best gold companies on the TSX.
Those are attractive numbers for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the grades are very high. So when you have 10% zinc, that's about let's say 200 pounds of zinc. So you get $200 per ton, and that's really huge from my point of view. So let's have a look on the land holdings. Also lassen Sie uns kurz einen Blick auf die Ländereien werfen. This trend is your land holdings are going 150 kilometers. Is that correct?
Correct. About 140 kilometers in length. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the I think is that this is CZX.V of tech, and yours. And Aktie is where?
It is just to the south there, where the other X is, right? That red mark right there. Yeah, up there. Further up to the yes, there.
Ja, okay. Okay, man sieht schon, also dieses ist die Lagerstätte eben, die was Tech mit Korea Zink, ich bin schon ganz verwirrt vom vielen Wechseln vom Englischen ins Deutsche. Und hier ist eben die Aktie-Lagerstätte. This is about 40 to 50 million tons, and yours is about 30 million tons
30
now.
million. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's growing. It's growing. It's very big. And I think
Did you-
what this map also shows is the district scale opportunity. So along with the main project at Acai, we are very confident that there's other deposits to be discovered along that trend. So we are a district scale opportunity.
Okay. Er vermutet natürlich, dass in diesem Trend auch noch weitere Lagerstätten sich befinden. So tell me, did you drill anywhere in the north or in the south?
The
or
only
just
place
on Aktie?
No, at Mount Alcock, which is up in the middle of the map. Mount Alcock. Yes.
Okay.
So that is about 20 kilometers northwest of Cirque. So again, relatively close by. A company back in the mid 1980s did some drilling there, and they came up with almost 10 meters of 10% zinc lead. So there's been no follow-up drilling there, but certainly that is another area that we think there may be another deposit established.
Also er hat gerade erzählt, dass ein vorhergehender Explorer rund um Mount Elcock auch eben gebohrt hat und dort genauso 10% Zink, Blei kombiniert eben auch erbohrt hat, und es könnte natürlich auch genauso möglich sein, dass hier noch einmal eine große Lagerstätte. Do you plan to drilling from Mount Elcock or just concentrating on Cardiac Creek?
Well, I mean, right now, Helmut, what we've done is last year we spent about $500,000 doing some surface exploration at Mount Alcock, Alcock, and at Pi. If you look between Cirque and Acai, there's Pi, the Pi claims. So we did a bunch of work on Mount Alcock and Pi, correct? And we now have a number of targets that we think are drill ready. So we do plan on potentially doing some drilling on those properties. But another thing that the management is considering is perhaps spinning out all of those regional claims into another public company that would be owned by existing shareholders of CZX. Doing the drilling then.
Ein sehr wichtiger Punkt, aufgrund der Größe des ganzen Landes überlegt man, Teile eben dieses Gebietes in ein neues Unternehmen outzusourcen, und diese Firma würde dann an die bestehenden Aktionäre aufgeteilt werden. Das heißt, you are thinking on a dividend of shares for existing shareholders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're free shares. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a time frame?
Well, I think there's a possibility that we may make such an announcement or confirm the plan later this year, but it's still being discussed at the board level. Yeah.
Okay. So es wird gegenwärtig noch im Board diskutiert. Bestehende Aktionäre würden dann eine Aktiendividende bekommen des neuen Unternehmens. Yeah. Okay, I collected a few drilling highlights of Aktie, and we see here amazing grades from nearly 14% zinc, and that's not. I have to say that's not the best sections. There are more high-grade sections in this course, but we can see there are big meters and very high grade.
Very wide intercepts. Yes, very wide intercepts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Helmut.
When you compare it to other companies, let's say dollar metals, where you're standing with these drilling results from the meters and from the grades.
certainly larger, better grade overall. I mean, within our deposit, there, you know, I think there are some estimates that there's a high grade zone within our main deposit that could be, you know, 10 to 12 million tons at 15% zinc lead. So certainly within this really nice deposit, there's a very, very high grade intersection. And you know, I think the mining companies that we're talking to also contemplate, you know, mining that high grade, the very high grade section first, and then moving on to the 10%. But overall, we're very pleased with the tonnage and the grade. Yeah.
Also eben im Vergleich zu anderen Zink-Exploren steht Canada Zinc Metals eigentlich sehr, sehr gut da, sowohl in Bezug auf die Meter, wo eben die Mineralisierung ist, als auch auf die Zink- und Bleigehalte. Er hat auch gesagt, dass es innerhalb, also es wird so angenommen, dass es innerhalb des großen Erzkörpers einen etwas schmäleren Bereich gibt, wo eben das Material sehr, sehr hochgradig ist, so um die 15%, und ein mögliches Abbauszenario wäre eben zuerst den sehr, sehr hochgradigen wie soll man so, Bereich abzubauen und nachher eigentlich das dünnere Material dann abzubauen, das dann eben nochmal im Schnitt 10% hat. So, let's go to the next slide. I found an amazing photo on your website, and that's your new camp. You did this, I think, last year.
Well, it's been growing and growing, and we've been updating it and upgrading it as things get more active on the project, and we're starting to move it forward. So yeah, no, it's a very comfortable 50-person camp, 50-person plus. You know, I think what's also become very obvious to these companies that have visited the project is the infrastructure in the area is actually reasonably good. We have full road access to the deposit, and
you built the road.
Connect. We built about, I think probably about, I think about 8 or 9 kilometers of road total. But there has always been some existing roads in the area, but we've done an additional 9 kilometers. But those roads actually connect to the town of Mackenzie, BC, where there's an existing rail line. And that existing rail goes to Trail, where Teck has a smelter. And that rail line also goes to the coast. On the west coast, Prince Rupert is a deep sea port. So that rail line also goes to this deep sea port, where you could ship the concentrate overseas. And the largest hydropower plant in British Columbia is on a lake just south of the project as well. So there's power, there's road, there's rail. So, you know, reasonably good infrastructure also exists.
Also wir reden da gerade über die Infrastruktur, und man sollte es eigentlich nicht für möglich halten. Die Infrastruktur ist eigentlich relativ gut. Canada Zink hat selbst eine Straße gebaut, so 8-9 Kilometer, und das verbindet praktisch dann in Verbindung mit den existierenden Straßen kann man nach Mackenzie eben fahren, wo es einen Bahnanschluss gibt, der sowohl zur Schmelzanlage von Teck geht und auch auf die andere Seite an die Küste führt zum Prinz Rupert Hafen. So it would be let's make a plan. If your mine is deposit, so it would be make sense to get a concentrator here and ship the concentrate.
Right now, I mean, again, that's still being discussed with the operations group, but I think that's certainly one of the plans, would have the concentrator there and you just ship.
Also ich war nicht so falsch mit meiner Annahme, aber es gibt anscheinend verschiedene Pläne, wie man das Ganze dort angehen soll. Please carry on.
Yeah, and you know, I think overall we've just done some very rough numbers, and again, the groups that we talked to have also done their own rough estimates. But again, what's attractive about the deposit again is the capital expenditure to put.
Es kommt eben auch sehr viel eben dann auf die Berechnungen an auf den ganzen Kapitaleinsatz, aber es wäre eben ein möglicher Plan, das Erz dort abzubauen. So, yeah. You're back. Please carry on.
Yeah, it's not in the billions like some of these projects that we're reading about more and more, you know, in these days where it's becoming way too expensive to put these projects into production. The capital expenditure, CapEx, is so high. Here we think the CapEx is probably in the 300 million range.
Okay.
So again, very, very doable. It doesn't scare away people from those numbers. That CapEx is very reasonable, right? So that's another thing that makes the project attractive.
A question not specific about your project. Did you think that it's more easy to bring let's say a smaller project into the production as a very huge project? So, of course, it is, because you need not that much money. So what's the ideal size for you? What are you looking for? You are now at 30 million tons. Is it 50? Is it 60? Or is it good as it is?
Well, I think you know, obviously bigger is better. A larger deposit at that grade, if we can carry on finding more, and because right now the deposit is open for further expansion. We've not found the outer limit yet. So it's open at depth. At depth it's open. Along strike it's open. Even at surface. So certainly the potential is there to get it towards 40, 50 million tons and be similar to Cirque. But you know, again, I think we probably have already hit a number that is something that could be mineable. That threshold at 30 million tons, I mean, that's large. And again, some of the groups we talk to certainly aren't complaining about the size.
Okay. Natürlich ist es besser, wenn man die Ressource noch anwachsen lässt, aber es ist eben ein bisschen leichter, ich sag mal so, eine kleinere Lagerstätte, so um die 50 Millionen Tonnen in Betrieb zu nehmen, weil eben die CapEx-Kosten, das heißt die Kosten, die einfach investiert müssen, dass man dort mit dem Abbau beginnen kann, wesentlich geringer sein, und es fände sich auch wesentlich leichter, glaube ich, Investoren, die was sagen, okay, kann man das 300 Millionen, kann ich mir vorstellen. Es gibt eben auch sehr große Projekte, die ihm dann schon schwierig zu finanzieren sind, wenn es einmal dann in den Milliardenbereich eben hineingeht. So, you're in a very good position. Let's talk about a little bit about the exploration. You have now limited access because of the weather, but you're planning to do it underground.
Yes, yeah. Right now, everything that we've done to this point has been from surface. It's been surface exploration. So the length.
So, ich habe gerade gefragt, er ist ein bisschen limitiert eben wegen des Wetters. Das heißt, er ist limitiert auf die Sommermonate, wo er die Exploration eben durchführen kann. Und es ist jetzt geplant, dass man das auch das ganze Jahr durchführen kann. Is that the reason why you built, you made the camp bigger and better?
No. I think, you know, it's already winterized, so this camp is already at a point where you can pretty much work it all year round once we want to do that. But going back to your initial question, yeah, the plan now is to actually start looking at more and more going at the project from underground. And once we do that, you can work all year round. The target isn't, you know, I'm almost convinced this will be an underground mine. So you're coming at it from the side of the hill, and basically it's an ideal underground situation because it's a steep hill, and basically gravity would just, you know, pull all the rocks down and you haul them out. So once we're underground, it would be a year-round operation.
Also man plant eben jetzt durch die Richtung eines Tunnels eben die Exploration vom unter Tage weiterzuführen. The exploration from underground is much cheaper for you too. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Because right now the holes are.
Der Grund, warum das billiger ist eigentlich, momentan muss man die Löcher eben 500 Meter bohren, dass man eben dort zu dem Bereich kommt, wo es dann interessant wird. Und wenn es das wenn man es eben von unter Tage die Sache angeht, dann sind die Bohrlöcher wesentlich kürzer. How much meters will you have from drilling from underground?
Well, I mean, the design is still being formalized, but basically what we do is we build a decline about maybe almost 2 kilometers of a decline, and there would be drilling base stations along the way. And basically, you'd fan.
Also Sie planen eben einen Tunnel zu machen, wo es dann verschiedene Basisstationen gibt, von denen aus dann gebohrt werden wird. Wird das Ganze sehr, sehr viel billiger machen.
So certainly, yeah, drilling it out more efficiently from underground. I mean, we still plan to do some surface drilling, but we're moving much more aggressively towards going underground.
Okay. So let's go to the next slide. I've done a little math about your numbers, and I found out that one pound of zinc is valued at let's say 1 cent. There are a few. I saw a report from Secure Capital, and this tells me that the companies I've mentioned before, Donner Metals and Canada Zinc and what was the third? I don't remember now. They are valued from 3 to 5 times higher than your company on the resource.
Yeah. 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 No, certainly. I think certainly when you look at those figures there, the market is not giving us enough credit for you know, how much of a resource we have. And I mean, when I have investor meetings, certainly what we try to get across to people again is we're trading cheap, even at 45, 50 cents. We're cheap given the asset that we have. Yeah.
So, was ich gerade gesagt habe, ist eben die Bewertung pro Pfund Zink. Die Firmen, die eben vom Chart her auch sehr, sehr viel schlechter im letzten Jahr abgeschnitten haben, haben trotzdem noch eine sehr, sehr viel höhere Bewertung eben wie Kanada Zink. Das geht von 3 bis 5 Mal so hohe Bewertung dennoch noch. Also ich finde das schon sehr signifikant. What a main question is maybe there are some environmental problems is there let's say a river, a lake, some native tribes, are there some problems on Aktie?
Well, no, you know, I think what we're doing, Helmut, is we're doing it, you know, everything that we're supposed to be doing. We're doing environmental baseline studies for the last 2 years. Basically, as long as you do these studies and make the proper reports to the government, we're basically providing them with all information about, you know, these baseline studies when it comes to the environment. And our current Vice President of Exploration, Ken McDonald, he used to work for the BC BC Ministry of Energy and Mines. So, you know, he has a very strong background in government requirements to get permits.
Okay.
He did a lot of the permitting for the Mount Milligan project that was owned by Terrain Metals, which was taken over by Thompson Creek Metals a few years ago. So Ken, you know, led the permitting team there.
So der Vizepräsident für die Exploration, ich habe jetzt den Namen vergessen, aber so, hat sehr, sehr viel Erfahrung eben in, wie man Genehmigungen bekommt und ist sehr gut verdrahtet eben, weil er eben Mitarbeiter des British Columbia Ministeriums für Energie und Minen eben war. So, we will not have bad surprise in the future.
If in a takeover situation?
No. In the environmental situation.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. But to this point, things have been checking out very nicely, so I don't anticipate that. Everything seems to be going according to plan when it comes to the environmental studies. And just last summer, we were able to get a 3-year underground exploration permit from the government. We were able to get the surface drilling permits for Mount Alcock and the Pi claims. So you know, we've been providing the information they need and getting the permits to date. Yeah.
So, bislang hat es eigentlich keine Probleme gegeben und er erwartet auch in Bezug auf Umweltfragen auch in der Zukunft keine Probleme. Sie haben erst letztes Jahr eben für 3 Jahre
There are 2 First Nations groups in the communities that we deal with, and to this point, they've been very supportive of the project. They, you know, at any given time, we employ a number of them from the community in the camp. So, you know, to this point, we've had a very good relationship. Yeah.
Okay, also ja, Sie haben auch zu den Ureinwohnern eben sehr gute Beziehungen und wenn Sie eben nur immer können, stellen Sie auch eben Mitglieder dieser Stämme an und erwartet eigentlich in der Zukunft keine Probleme. So, Peeyush, let's talk about your main shareholder, Tongling non-ferrous metals. You know, we are all speculating on a takeover. That's if a company grabs a third of another company, it's I think it's always possible for a takeover because they are showing interest with investing in your company. So the audience will ask you, when will the takeover happen? I'm sure.
Well, when is not an easy question to answer, but I can tell you that the possibility is strong, given, like as you said, the size of the investment they've made to date, given their need to provide their zinc and lead smelters with feed, given our location being in British Columbia, the west coast of Canada, you could ship the concentrate to their smelters, which are right on the Yangtze River. So you could literally put the concentrate, you know, into barges off the west coast of British Columbia and take it right to the foot of their smelter. So, you know, every time we meet with
is Tongling owning zinc mines in China?
No, we are their only, at this time, we're the only investment that we're aware of that they've made in the zinc space.
Okay. So I translated a little bit because I think that's a main point. Es ist nicht leicht zu beantworten, wann diese Übernahme eben kommen wird. Aber eben die Lagerstätte von Canada Zinc Metals ist eben für sie auch ideal, weil es erstens an der Westküste von Kanada liegt. Das heißt, man kann das Konzentrat zu den Schmelzanlagen, die am Yangtze liegen, eben sagen wir, relativ leicht transportieren. Ist natürlich auch, das Ganze hat auch die richtige Größe, das ist kein Mickey-Mouse-Betrieb mehr. So, you are talking about the takeover, you talk to them about the possibility of a takeover?
Yeah, no, I mean, we were in China back in December. We've met them in Ecuador. We met them in China previously. They've had delegations come to Vancouver and meet with us here, and within our discussions, at some point, the topic of an ultimate takeover does come up. So certainly, it's always a topic of discussion whenever we meet with them, and it certainly is a possibility. Again, given their interest in the company and their existing shareholding. And in fact, my most recent discussion with them.
Jetzt gerade, wo spannend worden ist, oder was ist die Internetverbindung wieder abgebrochen. Aber ich glaube, dass er nicht so genau sagen kann, wenn das wirklich stattfinden wird. Aber Tongling zeigt eben großes Interesse, indem sie immer wieder in das Unternehmen investiert. Und mittlerweile eben zu mehr als einem Drittel Besitzer von Canada Zinc Metals ist. Es wird eigentlich bei jedem Meeting auch das Thema Übernahme angeschnitten und ja, okay.
But there's also the possibility of somebody else coming in as well. I mean, you can't rule that out as well. I mean, I think there is opportunity and interest by others where potentially somebody else could come in and also.
So the best thing for us investors would be an bidder fight. Tongling is bidding, and London is bidding, and Tech is bidding.
A competitive process. Yeah, competitive bidding. Yeah.
But I think it's possible. I think
it is.
From my point of view, if tomorrow Tongling is coming and say, okay, we will grab you at the price of let's say 80 cents a share. I think it's the possibility that the tech comes around the corner and says, okay, that's a deposit in let's say in our hometown.
Sure.
The Chinese shouldn't grab it. So, also ich glaube, dass es durchaus auch die Möglichkeit gibt, eben wenn morgen eben Tongling kommen würde und sagen würde, okay, wir geben euch 80 Cent pro Aktie und dafür gehört das Ganze uns, dass es vielleicht ein wenig später ein Gegenangebot von Tech geben würde, das vielleicht dann noch wesentlich höher ausfallen könnte, weil eben die Lagerstätte die Aktie-Lagerstätte von Canada Zinc Metals eben so knapp an der Zink-Lagerstätte von Tech liegt und eben auch die Schmelzanlage ich sag mal so, in Reichweite ist, die ja auch befüllt gehört. Ne? So, but is Tongling running out of good ore in China?
Well, again, they're mostly a copper play, right? So they're mostly a copper play. So, if we focus on zinc, they're very hungry for some concentrate in zinc.
Also, Tongling ist zum Großteil eigentlich im Kupfermarkt, aber sie sind jetzt eben sehr scharf auf Zinkgeschichten. So, another important point for me is your confidence in your own companies. There are a lot of insider buyings in the last 2 years. Your family, I think your family bought about, I think 500,000 shares the last 2 years. Is that possible?
That possible. Yeah, no, that number is very possible. Yeah, no, we're very supportive of our deals. I think our family does have a fair bit of experience in the public markets. We've been involved in a number of successful resource and non-resource companies, and yeah, we certainly get involved in deals and support them as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. You're still a director in a diamond company, I think so.
Yeah, no, we actually, our family were one of the founders of that company. So Mountain Province Diamonds, MPD,
Mm-hmm.
Trades around $5 to $6 right now, but it is a joint venture with De Beers, and we have a property, a diamond deposit in the Northwest Territories of Canada, and it is now at the permitting stage to go into production. So it's 60 million carats. It's considered the largest diamond mine under development in the world right now, and
Wow.
it is something that we started drilling on back in the mid-90s, and we still remain very big shareholders, and now we're at the production point. So no, it's been a good story for us.
But it's so difficult to find diamonds.
Very rare. Extremely rare. Extremely
because
rare. Yeah.
If you are searching for gold or copper, okay, I have drilled some holes for a few kilometers, but on diamonds you have to hit the chimney.
Yeah,
and then you got some micro diamonds, some crappy pieces, and it's you have to be very lucky to find diamonds. I think so.
You're right. To find an economic deposit, very rare. So yeah, no, it's been good. But my main point is we get involved in companies and support them and try to build them up to something significant. And so yeah, we've certainly been in the market on Canada Zinc metals when we think it's undervalued. We're in there. We do have an issuer bid, company share buyback program, and we certainly are not reluctant to support the company at certain levels if we think it's undervalued, and it's undervalued right now. Yeah.
So your share buyback program lasts now 2 years, I think so.
It'll be coming up to 3 years in August. Yeah.
Okay. Also seit 3 Jahren gibt es eigentlich das Aktienrückkaufprogramm, und I think last year you bought about 900,000 shares back in the market. Last year, the last program. Ja, okay. Und ja, also ich denke eben, dass das, ich sag mal, anhaltende Insiderkäufe und eben auch das Aktienrückkaufprogramm ein sehr signifikantes Zeichen dafür ist, eben wie groß das Vertrauen des Managements in das eigene Tun und in die eigene Lagerstätte ist. Es ist nicht, it's not usual that share buyback programs and insider buyings. That's not. I like this because it's supportive to the share price.
That's exactly it. It just shows the support that we are prepared to provide. Again, strong evidence of our feeling that it's undervalued right now. Basically, as I said, a lot of our financings we've done, pretty much all the financings the last 3 or 4 years, have been done at higher prices, and the deposit is bigger than it's ever been in the past. And more and more companies are showing interest than they ever had. So I mean, everything's going well from a size of deposit, the interest from outsiders, financings, and we're trading at this level. So I think we're a better asset than we were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And all the financings have been at higher prices. Yeah.
I think the markets will recover in the next couple of weeks, and Canada Zinc has to be one of the winners of the situation now, because you are doing very good at the pressure times, and I think you will get rewarded when the markets are getting better.
I think so too. Yeah.
Ja. Also ich habe auch gesagt, sie haben sich eigentlich relativ gut durch die Krise geschlagen mit dem Aktienpreis, ne? Und ich glaube, dass das auch belohnt werden wird, eben wenn die Märkte eben generell wieder anziehen werden. So, your zinc price expectations. We have heard a lot of comments from different sources about the upcoming zinc shortage in the future, and what are your expectations?
Well, I think that's something that we all need to keep in mind. Again, is
Ich habe angesprochen eben, dass man es jetzt eben von verschiedenen Seiten eben schon hört, eben, dass es eine eine Zinkunterversorgung eben geben wird, weil eben sehr viele Minen in der Zukunft geschlossen werden. Muss sich natürlich positiv auf den Zinkpreis auswirken. Some of the biggest zinc mines are running out of ore, and they will be closed, I think, in the next 3 years.
Correct. Yeah, some of the biggest. I mean, we have the Brunswick mine in New Brunswick, owned by Xstrata. That supplies 4% of the world's zinc. It is scheduled to shut down, I think, within a year and a half. The Century mine in Australia, also one of the biggest zinc mines in the world.
I think so. The Leaching zinc mine in Ireland too. Also er hat jetzt ein paar der größten Zinkminen eben aufgezählt, die eben jetzt kurz vor der Schließung stehen. Leaching is owned by an Indian company, I think so.
Vedanta bought it, yes.
Yeah.
They bought them from Anglo-American, that's correct, yeah. And then another one, Scorpion in Namibia, is also owned by them, and it's also scheduled to end in the next few years. So really what's happening is you've got some of the largest zinc mines in the world closing down in the next 2 to 3 years, and there's nothing new really coming in to replace that lost supply. So, because zinc has not been in the spotlight for so many years, nobody has been focusing on putting new zinc mines into production. So there's this real chronic shortage of zinc that's expected. And almost every analyst we speak to, every mining company we speak to, Don Lindsay, the president of Teck Resources, everyone is coming out and saying there is this shortage that is going to be hitting us. So I do think when that happens, we're really going to be in the spotlight.
And I see a lot of new tiny zinc explorers on the CZX, and I think that's also a sign for an upcoming zinc trend.
You're right. When people start running to the space, you know that the space will get hot in due course. But also, I'd have to say there's very few quality zinc junior companies out there. We're one of a small handful, and amongst that group, I think we're one of the best, if not the best. I think we're right up there. So again, when that spotlight shines on zinc, and people are looking for zinc when there's this shortage that hits us, I think we're one of the top names that people will come to.
So, also wir haben eben die Zinksituation besprochen und der Peeyush hat eben auch gesagt, die größten Zinkminen dieser Erde stehen eben kurz vor dem Aus. I've read something about the Chinese zinc mines. They are very, very low grade, and they cannot make profit with a zinc price below $1 a pound. Is that true?
I don't know the numbers, Helmut, but I know they have a lot of issues with environmental, problems, also with the small mines they have there. So I do think they're expensive to mine. So I think a lot of them are probably not even producing right now.
Yeah. Okay. So it's clearly the world is not running out of zinc, but the world will have to go through a few years of shortage, and this will drive up the zinc price. What are your expectations for the zinc price, let's say in 2015?
Well, I think if you look back, I think between 2006, 2007, zinc averaged $1.50. So we're currently at 90 cents, but it averaged about $1.50 that full year, and went as high as $2. So again, based on what I'm reading, some are certainly saying that $2 zinc is not out of the question for an extended period of time. Yeah.
Peeyush meint eben, dass so Preise eben Zinkpreise so um $2 bis 2015 so möglich wären, und das würde natürlich schon das Augenmerk auf verschiedene Zinc export. There are just a lot of zinc, so real zinc plays on the TSX, also on the Australian, and also in UK. Just a handful.
Just a handful. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So all the investment speculation has to concentrate on a handful of companies when you will ride on the zinc wave.
Correct. And of that handful, there's only a few that really have anything of high quality. Yeah.
Okay. Es gibt nur eine Handvoll an Zink Explorer, das wird in der nächsten Zeit noch mehr werden, weil ich habe schon einige so ganz kleine Zink Explorer, so jetzt, die was eben jetzt beginnen, habe ich schon gesehen, dass die eben an der CSX sind. Aber wie er schon sagt, sie sind jetzt schon relativ lange eben mit der Firma in diesem Bereich, darum ist auch ihre Ressource sehr, sehr groß, darum haben sie auch einen großen Investor, der ihm zu ihnen steht, sage ich mal so, und also für mich, from my point of view, Canada Zinc is the best zinc explorer on the TSX, maybe worldwide. You have to say thank you, Helmut.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Helmut. No, but I do think if you look at again, the asset we have, the district scale opportunity that we have, the treasury, we've got about $14 million cash. We've got a strong management group. We've got very strong strategic shareholders. I mean, really, it is a compelling investment opportunity in the zinc space.
Yes, and that's a point I completely forgot. Your very strong cash position in the company. That's also unusual to have a Zinc Explorer with 40 million in the bank.
Correct.
So, wir haben noch mal kurz die Cashflow, die Barge, also die Geldreserven angesprochen des Unternehmens. Also sie haben noch 14 Millionen zur Verfügung. Ist auch sehr ungewöhnlich, dass man eben einen so gut ausfinanzierten Explorer eben irgendwo findet, speziell im Zinkbereich, der vielleicht noch nicht so im Fokus der Anleger liegt, aber meines Erachtens sicherlich zusehends in den Fokus der Anleger rücken wird, eben aufgrund des projektierten Ansteigens des Zinkpreises durch die Unterversorgung, durch die Minenschließungen eben von den größten Minen weltweit. So, what are your expectations for the future for your company? Also, ich habe ihn gerade über seine Erwartungen für das ganze Unternehmen befragt. Er wird sofort zurück sein, hoffe ich. Mittlerweile habe ich da den Chat, also die Nachrichten geöffnet. Sie können mal jetzt da ein bisschen so Nachrichten schreiben, die werden Sie sofort, soweit es geht, eben dann beantworten. So, what are your expectations for your company and for the general market?
Well, I think starting with the general markets, I think in these times where there is
Leider. Anscheinend hat Europa doch das bessere Internet wie Kanada. Wir stellen das immer wieder fest, dass uns die Verbindungen ein bisschen abreißen. Aber das ist, wie würde der Herr Gottschalk sagen, das gibt natürlich den Live-Charakter, so weiß man, dass es live ist und keine Aufzeichnung. Bin mir sicher, dass der Peeyush gleich wieder zurück sein wird. Peeyush, please, once again.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you can see that a lot of everything, producing companies, mid-tier, junior companies, they've all been beaten down to really low levels. And I think an investor has to focus on those projects or those companies that have, as we talked about, very strong.
Also er hat gerade kurz ausgeführt, dass egal ob man jetzt großer Produzent ist, ob man also mittlerer Produzent ist oder ob man ein Explorationsunternehmen ist, momentan wird einfach alles vom Markt abgestraft. So please.
Yeah. So those companies that don't have those characteristics, I think they're really going to be struggling to recover. They might have to dilute, raise cash at very low levels. They won't attract the interest because the project really isn't top tier.
Okay. Ja, einen besonders wichtigen Punkt gerade angesprochen oder so irgendwas. Also viele Firmen wurden jetzt extrem vom Aktienpreis gedrückt. Sie werden aber trotzdem Kapital brauchen, das sie jetzt auf sehr, sehr tiefem Niveau einfach aufnehmen müssen. Und das wird natürlich die Aktien sehr, sehr diluten. Canada Zinc Metals is here in a very good shape because you have a lot of money in the bank. Your share price, it's okay, and you can develop your asset with your cash reserves.
Correct. Strong management troop. Yeah. So I do think everyone should really focus more on companies as I've just described, and I think we fit obviously that category. I think right on it. So yes, our plan certainly is to carry on, moving the project forward. Talking to a number of these strategic groups that have been approaching us. I know there will be some site visits this summer by some of the ones that we've just talked about. And as I've said, we're large, one of the largest undeveloped zinc-lead deposits. The infrastructure in the area is relatively advanced, so we're attractive from that point as a target. We're considering the spin-out of those regional claims. So existing shareholders would have free shares of an exploration company on the northern claims. And this looming shortage of zinc, as I say, when it hits us or hits the markets, I think we will certainly be right at the front of people's minds as a worthwhile investment in the zinc space. So again, another reason to maybe be accumulating at these levels and in anticipation of the real interest coming. Yeah.
Also ich glaube, dass sie eigentlich sehr, sehr gut positioniert sind, weil eigentlich bei der Lagerstätte alles passt, von der Infrastruktur, von eben auch von den strategischen Partnern her, dass da eigentlich alles in Ordnung ist. Und er nimmt natürlich auch, dass ja einer der Firmen sind, die praktisch als Sieger aus diesem Rennen rausgehen wird. Er braucht seine Aktien nicht diluten, er hat genug Geld, er kann eben das Projekt eben weiterführen. Er braucht sie nicht irgendwo auf einem sehr, sehr tiefen Level neues Geld aufnehmen, das eben die Aktie sehr verwässern würde. Und er ist eigentlich in einer sehr, sehr guten Position. So, you are in a really good position and I still like your company. I have to confess, it's getting on my nerves seeing the share price always between 45 and 55 cents, like a pendulum going up and down. But I think when the share price will break the 55 cent level, it will go up very steep. Because
I think the market
the market will be clean then, and I think after breaking the 55 cent or let's say 60 cent level, the share price will go up very easy. That's my
I think the share price is sort of ready to burst up, and I think some of the events we've talked about all provide that potential for some serious increase in share price appreciation. There's a number of catalysts that we've discussed today that certainly have that potential to lead to some significant increase in share price.
So we are at the end. The chat is open for some questions. I will try to translate it for you and let's try to answer the questions. So
sure.
So there's a question. What's the best estimate for going to production on Aktie?
Sorry, the best estimate to go into
production? How much years will it need to go into production there?
Okay, so you know, I think talking to Ken McDonald, our VP Exploration, he thinks that if we were to aggressively move this project forward, it could be in production in 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Also wenn man die Sache sehr aggressiv angeht oder so irgendwas, dann kann man durchaus in 3 bis 4 Jahren in Produktion sein. But I think, is that your main target, or are you looking for a takeout? What would you prefer?
Well, you know, I think there's probably a bigger chance that we would be bought out before we actually put it into production. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably
also, glaubt, dass es
higher likelihood.
Eine größere Wahrscheinlichkeit gibt, dass das gesamte Unternehmen vorher gekauft wird. So, what would be a reasonable price for a takeout now? If someone comes around and say, okay, Peeyush, 70 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, $1.50.
Yeah. You know, Helmut, I guess that's a tough question. Obviously, some of our management group feel we shouldn't even entertain a potential takeover situation now, given the current state of the market and the current state of the zinc market. So some are saying, you know, we should just continue to move the project forward for another year and a half, and then again, when that zinc shortage really hits, I think some of the management group thinks that's when you start talking to groups about really just that potential takeover. But you know, our last financing, you know, we did one last year at 77 cents. I mean, you know, we'd certainly be using all these prices as, you know, it has to be higher than X because of past financing. So we'd certainly push for the highest, you know, possible price we could get. And again, that competitive process that you talked about, may also surface where you get somebody saying, here's what we're willing to offer, and you've got another that comes in and says, here, right? And so hopefully we get a bidding war whenever that situation was to arise. Yeah.
So, das Management will sich gar nicht so sehr momentan in die, sagen wir so, ins Schaufenster stellen, dass sie sich irgendwie so ein bisschen präsentieren als Übernahmekandidat, weil sie glauben, dass man einen wesentlich höheren Preis eben erzielen könnte, wenn man das Projekt noch 1,5 Jahre weiter voranbringen kann, und dann, wenn schon langsam eben die Zinkverknappung zuschlägt, man dann sowieso einen höheren Aktienpreis eben hat und dann das Angebot eines potenziellen Übernehmers eigentlich dann noch weitaus besser ausfallen würde als heutzutage. Aber er sagt auch, wenn der Preis jetzt passt, wird's auch funktionieren. Man muss natürlich sehr aufpassen, dass der nicht zu tief angesetzt ist, weil man muss bedenken, die letzten Kapitalaufnahmen sind alle so um die 70 Cent erfolgt. Das heißt, der Aktienpreis ist jetzt eigentlich wesentlich darunter. Und diese, ich sag mal so, strategischen Investoren haben eigentlich wesentlich mehr für ihre Aktien bezahlt, als der gegenwärtige Marktpreis ist. So, if someone comes around and say, okay, Peeyush, I give you $1 a share, would you say, okay, let's fix the deal?
Well, I take it to the board, and we'd have a discussion at the board level.
Yeah. But from my point of view, I'm not hoping for a soon takeout, because I agree with your board, because I'm sure if we are waiting a year or 1.5, we could achieve a much higher price on it.
Certainly, that's one perspective, one point of view, But I think
if someone comes around and gives me $1 share, I would say, okay, it's okay too.
Well, what I would do, Helmut, is whatever we do, I think I would always push for a spin out of those regional claims, so that existing shareholders would not only get the takeover of their
we have a second chance now.
They'd also get those.
Yeah.
So existing shareholders would get the benefit of the regional claims.
Okay. So er sagt da, dass es ihm ein Anliegen ist, eben, dass man die nördlichen Claims eben in ein separates Unternehmen eben ausgliedern möchte und die bestehenden Aktionäre dann mit diesen Aktien des neuen Unternehmens dann bedenkt, dann kann eigentlich, ich sag mal so, kann der Zink eigentlich übernommen werden und man hat die zweite Chance dann mit Canada Zinc Metals 2, the new name of the new company.
Yeah, correct.
So that's about the takeover. Okay, we've talked about it. Gibt es noch andere Interessenten neben den genannten? He's asking, what's the name? So Helmut is asking, are there some other interested parties? We have talked about there's Tongling, there's London Mining, there is the other Chinese group, China Min Metals, there's Tech.
Yeah.
Did you say something from a Korean company? Oops. Es gibt genug Interessenten und ich sage mal, zwei davon sind schon recht ansehnliche Aktionäre eben. Ich habe jetzt die ganzen Firmen aufgezählt. Es ist, you told me something about a Korean company was also on the deposit last year.
Yes, just this past summer, Korea Resources Corp were also at the property. They called us, had found about our project, went for a site visit. They're the I guess the sovereign state-owned group out of Korea that makes investments in resources. So they've got a number of investments in North American listed companies. So yes, they've also contacted us. So Korea Resource Corp is also looking. Yeah. And the fact that Korea Zinc is near us has Korea Resource very interested as well. Yeah.
Also Korea Resources, das ist eine staatliche koreanische Investmentgesellschaft, die eben im Ressourcenbereich investiert, war ebenfalls auf der Lagerstätte oben. Also man kann schon sagen, dass is it normal that kind of interest? Also ich habe gefragt, ob das normal ist, dass eigentlich so viel Interesse an einer Lagerstätte. Is it normal that much interest in the property, or is it unusual?
I think it's unusual. I think the fact that we're still getting phone calls from groups, again, goes to the quality of what we have, and the interest from these majors is high. Is high.
Yeah. Erfährt eben mit diesem Projekt ein sehr großes Interesse eben von potenziellen strategischen Investoren, und für ihn ist es sehr ungewöhnlich, dass es eigentlich so ein großes Interesse gibt. Es ist so, I think some gold companies are not facing
even Glencore,
this kind of interest.
Sorry?
I think most of the gold companies are not facing that kind of interest in their properties.
Not the juniors, yeah, not the juniors, no, for sure. Even Glencore, I've had 2 meetings with Glencore in the last 3 months as well.
Okay. Also er hat sich auch
if they merged with Xstrata.
Er hat sich auch mit Glencore getroffen. There is an upcoming zinc giant, Glencore. When Glencore merges with Xstrata, this will create the biggest zinc company in the world. Ne?
Correct. Yeah.
Also im Glencore hat er sich auch getroffen. Also eigentlich ist die Liste der Interessenten ist eigentlich sehr, sehr lang. So, gibt es noch andere Gedanken? So, also, there's a question from Johan. What would be a reasonable price to sell Canada Zinc?
Well, again, I think it's a hard one to answer, but certainly, again, I would use the the last financing we did at 77 as a benchmark to say it has to be at a minimum that, given where we're at, and again, given some of the value parameters that you've outlined, where we're getting only a penny per zinc pound value in the ground, where a lot of our peers are at 4 cents. That suggests over $1.20, right? Based on that value. So certainly we'd use all of these arguments and that support the position that we're very undervalued at the current price, and again, certainly try to achieve maximum return for shareholders.
Er bringt es nochmal auf den Punkt. Sie sind momentan ungefähr beim Penny pro Pfund Zink bewertet. Die Peer Gruppe, also die Vergleichsgruppe, ist irgendwo so bei 3 oder 4 Cent pro Pfund bewertet. Das heißt, das müsste eigentlich der minimale Preis sein, wo man die Aktie verkauft. Alles andere würde nicht unbedingt einen Sinn machen. So, there are no other questions. So, I have to thank you for your time, and I think it was very interesting for the audience. And you see down there's a little applauding us. He's clapping the hands.
Very good, very good.
I think you brought a lot of knowledge from the zinc market and from the general market to the people which was listening to us. And I repeat it. Canada Zinc is for me the best zinc company on the TSX, maybe worldwide. I don't know zinc companies on the ISX or on the AIM. I've had a look on several other companies. Sometimes they have split deposits on 3 spaces. They have the same resource, but deposits are split on thousands of kilometers. That makes no real sense for me. You have to have one big deposit. That's the best you can achieve. So, no other questions? Peeyush, thank you. Thank you for your time. Meine Damen und Herren, ich hoffe, es war sehr interessant für mich. Ich habe es jetzt persönlich gar nicht so mitbekommen, ob ich eigentlich das meiste übersetzt habe oder nicht. Ich hoffe, Sie haben die wichtigsten Sachen einfach aus dem Ganzen heraushören können. Vielleicht verstehen Sie da ein bisschen meine Begeisterung fürs Unternehmen, obwohl vielleicht der Aktienpreis nicht immer das macht, was wir unbedingt wollen. Wir wollen alle, dass er nach oben geht, ne? Und dann geht er wieder nicht, ne? Weil dann liegt es am Markt, dann liegt es am Markt, dann liegt es am Zinkpreis, dann liegt es an irgendeinem Investor, der was just in diesem Moment glaubt, der muss jetzt 100.000 Aktien verkaufen. Man hat es nie in der Hand. Man hat es einfach nie in der Hand. Dennoch bin ich sehr begeistert vom Unternehmen und ich hoffe, ich bedanke mich nochmal für die wirklich zahlreichen Zuseher und ich hoffe, Sie sind auch nächstes Mal dabei und möchte mich verabschieden und wünsche Ihnen noch einen schönen Abend. So
thanks for setting up the interview, Helmut. Thank you for setting it up, and I would like to thank the audience for being present for the interview, and I hope again you were able to take away a number of good points from the interview and get a better understanding of the company and weg. Okay.